For some years I taught a chair making course, and on that course we made a chair something like this. This is a chair based on the design by Valdal Malmsten, a Swedish designer, and I always think it looks a little bit like Chippendale Goes to Scandinavia. This chair is made in ash, and it has a Danish cord seat. Now, I don't intend to show you how the full making of this chair, but I thought it might be interesting just to talk about the weaving of the seat. Now, there's a chance I'm going to bang on about this for about an hour, so I think it might be worth splitting this thing into two videos. So, in the first video, part one, what we'll do, we'll talk about the positioning of the L-shaped nails which are used for weaving the seat, and then we'll actually lay out the warp, which is the strands going front to back, and then in the second part we'll then do the weaving of the weft, which is the strands going across like that, and then we'll also talk about putting a shellac finish onto the onto the cord to stop it picking up dirt and things. So as I say, it's going to be about an hour in all, but it's going to be split over two parts. So let's get on with it. Before I go any further, I'd just like to say that I have a cameraman on this video. Nick's behind the camera. Say hello, Nick.
Hello, Chris.
Nick's taken over the workshop from me. I've actually retired now, so I'm not teaching anymore. Nick has taken over the workshop from me and he's now teaching his own courses. And I'll post a link to his courses on this video.
Thank you.
Okay, so or I might not, depending on how his filming comes out.
Yeah.
So this is another chair which hasn't had the seat done. I haven't put the arms on yet because I find that it's easier to weave the seat without the arms on. And what we use is Danish cord. So this is some Danish cord here, and you can see it's actually made out of brown paper. So I think it's got three strands, and you can see one strand I've actually unravelled, so you can see it's made out of brown paper. Extraordinarily strong, makes a very good seat. And the way we do it is we're going to hook we've got all these hook-shaped nails. So I've got some here. There we go. These hook-shaped nails, or L nails.
Where do you buy them from?
I buy them online. I'll post a link to supplies of all these different bits and pieces. So I've got the hook-shaped nails, the L-shaped nails here, and what we do is we hook the cord round, then take it over. I should have a longer piece really. Take it over and then hook it round on the other side. So you're going backwards and forwards, and the advantage is that you don't have to pull all the whole strand of cord through on each pass. You're just sort of hooking one piece backwards and forwards, whereas if you're doing like a rush seat, you've got to pull all the rush through and it takes forever. So let's have a look at the tools that you need. Very few actually. You need, you know that old rusty screwdriver that's gone all blunt and horrible and you use for opening paint tins and things? Well, you need that for this job, because we're going to use that for sort of pulling the strands tight. You'll see what I mean when we come to do it. So get hold of a nice blunt screwdriver. We don't want sort of a new one because it can end up sort of cutting the cord. So nice and blunt. We've got the L nails, we've got the cord. Obviously at some point you will, I put these nails in before I assembled the chair. So these nails have gone into pre-drilled holes, pilot holes, quite tight pilot holes, and then I've tapped them home, leaving about 10mm protruding. When we've finished weaving the chair, we will actually be tapping them home finally, so you will need a smallish, a medium-sized hammer, and possibly a punch to sort of punch any reluctant ones home. And we also find that when we're weaving into the corners, the nails tend to clash with each other. So you might find sort of some long nose pliers might be useful. These are a bit too long really. Might be useful just for sort of moving these nails around a bit to sort of make room for to get the cord in and things. And you'll also need something for cutting the cord at some point. I've got a nice sharp pen knife here. You could use some sort of clippers or something. So before we go any further, I'll just mention how many nails we've got. These L-shaped nails here, and I actually put these nails in before I assembled the chair. It's a lot easier to put the nails in when the rail's separate rather than trying to sort of hammer into the corners and things. But the spacing, to some degree it's up to you. I've found that this spacing I've got here is what gives quite a good seat. So down the sides here, on either side, I've got them in two different rows, which just makes it easier to do the weaving, and it also means you haven't got a lot of stress all in one long line along the grain there. And this rail here is 360mm long, and I've got 47 nails here altogether, obviously in two separated into two lines. And then front to back, I've got 23 nails. So there's 23 nails on this rail, 23 nails on this rail. Obviously you have to have an equal number on your rails, front and back, and equal numbers side to side. And this back rail is 370, and the front rail is 460. And you can work out your spacing from that, and obviously if your chair is different dimensions, then you'll have to work it out.
Do you just you do the maths on a ruler? There's no fancy trick with calipers?
Not that I know of, no. Yeah, you just sort of measure it and then divide it by the number of nails. On the front to back, it's a good idea to have an odd number of nails because we want to have symmetry. We'll get into that later on. And if you have an even number of nails, you'll find that it's not the same. The weave will go underneath on one side and over the top on the other side. That's not totally well explained, but it will become evident later on. I think that's about it. So let's get on and do some weaving. So we're ready to start sort of weaving the warp. It's going backwards and forwards, and after that we do the weft, which is going the other way. So this needs to be nice and tight. So to start off, I'm just going to thread that through there and then take it above and below these nails just to hold it in place, these adjacent nails. And then as we do this backwards and forwards, this will get clamped in, so there's no danger of it slipping. So I'm pushing the cord under there like that, and then bringing it forward. So what I've done is I've woven it up and down here. I've taken it over the top of this nail, this first nail, brought it round here, then I'm going to bring it back over the top there, then I'm going to hook it round. If I can get it in there, I might need my screwdriver. Push it in there. Hook it round there, put it nice and tight. Then come back down. So I've hooked it round there and pulled it tight underneath and over the top. And then coming over the top of this rail, back up to this nail here. Now this might be a little bit of a tight squeeze. I'm just going to move that nail out of the way a little bit. Right, so now I can hook over that nail. I'm coming back over, and now having pulled this tight, that should retain this bit of cord that we started off with. So hooked over that now, come around here over the top of the rail, and then I'm coming back to this one here, and that will give us our 4 cords here, because we're going to have 4 here at either side, and then there's going to be double ones going back to front in the middle. Now we want to get over to this nail. So if I come round here and hook over that nail, and then go over to there, I can then pull tight, come back over, hook it round and back. So I've come back around and I want to get over to this nail here, from here. So if I come over and hook over that nail, pull it tight and jump across to the next one, yeah, then we can go up and over, hook it round there, oops. And back again, so I'm going up and over to the next, over that nail, and jumping to the next one. Yeah. The advantage of doing it that way is that we've got it nice and smooth underneath. If you, I don't know if I can tilt it up, you can see it's nice and clean. They've just got these two strands here. We haven't got any strands going across from one side to the other to get from one nail to the other. All the jumping across from one nail to the next is happening at the back here, where it's not so evident. That'll become more significant later on when we start winding round to fill in the gaps in between, which will be the next stage. So what I'm going to do is just continue going backwards and forwards, and then you'll join me again when we come to the end, where we can see what we do next. So we're back again, and you can see this is the last of the double ones. So I've just got to do the last of the two strands. I've just got to do the 4-strand one at the end. How long do you think that's taken me, Nick? How long have I been at it?
15 minutes?
Yeah,
maybe.
right. So I'm just going to go over that one. Round and then there. Now this is where it can get a little bit tricky because you're getting right up into the corner, and it's going to be even worse when we're doing the other way. It gets very tricky. We're going to work from the back forwards, and when you get to the end, it all gets a little bit hectic because the nails are so close together. So I'm trying to get in on that one there. Oop. There's my screwdriver. Over the back. So there's one nail left there, which I don't think you're going to be able to get at, Nick. It's just take my word for it. There's a nail I'm going to be hooking over there. Move that one out of the way a little bit. You can sort of bend them around a little bit to get in. There we go. And that'll be the last one coming across there. And then I'm going to come back over that. I've used all my nails here, so I'm going to put 2 strands over that last one. If I move the cord in a bit, I'll just about get another strand over there. Oops. Right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it above and below the nails along here, just to cast off. And then what will happen is at the end we'll be coming along here and then we'll clamp onto those that lot and it will lock it in position. Right, and that's it. I did get myself in a little bit of a pickle while I was doing this. Fortunately, what wasn't being filmed. You do need to be very careful about your cord discipline. This cord came to me from a student who'd finished his chair and he had a whole load left over. And there was a bit of a sort of a pile of it there. So I got in a bit of a tangle when I'm halfway through and I had to stop and untangle it. So you need to be quite careful about your cord discipline and make sure you're just sort of pulling it out of the middle there, that it's all keeping nice and tight. See that little bit there's a bit annoying, but I'll cut that down there. So that will just come out from the middle there. I've got another, this is how, quite often how it comes. And again, if you can sort of pull your, I don't know where the end, there's an end there, if you can pull the cord out from the middle all the time and just keep it as like that, then you don't end up with lots of tangles. So we've got our warp done. Rough cut here, I'm going to just have a go with. But we've got these gaps in between which are pretty unsightly. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort of wind cord round like that in between just to fill in. Yeah, and then we'll start doing the weft. So what I've got to do is try and work out how much. So I'm going to have to cut off a length of cord here, the right length to do all these here. So what I need to do is to actually wind this round here to work out how much we need. So if I,
and this time it's all one piece.
yeah.
And so you have to thread this through, whereas before you were just looping it over.
Well, yeah, it'll become evident in a minute,
Right.
Nick. So I reckon we're going to get away with 4 there, I think. Sorry, yeah, 4. So that's how much it takes to do 4. So if I multiply that up by the number that we need, and add, say, half a metre or something just to be on the safe side, that should be okay. And then what we do is we start in the middle there, and we sort of wind along there, and then we wind along there. So I'm going to sort of cut out a piece that length, so I know where the middle is, so I can start there and then start doing my winding either way. So I'll do that, and then we can come back to see what's going on. I calculated that we need 13 metres of stuff to do the winding around these spaces here. That's I calculated we needed about 12 metres plus an extra metre to be on the safe side. So the way we do this is we find the middle nail. And usually you try to arrange so you've got an odd number of nails, so you do have a middle nail. So I know there's 19 strands here, so if I come into the 10th one, that should be the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I just happen to be right. And I start there, so if I can, I might have to pull that nail out slightly just to give me a bit more room. So, trusty screwdriver, there we are, I've pulled it out a bit. So that central nail, if I hook at the midpoint my piece and then take it across like that, so I'm now sort of trapping this bottom piece, and I pull that tight, we're not going to go anywhere, it's not going to slide. So now I can start wrapping, and I'm going to work this in this direction, so we can start wrapping round like that. And this is where you do have to pull the cord all the way through. And I've got a feeling, whoops, I reckoned it was, let's move that back there. I reckon I was going to need 4 between each, but I think I was a bit over optimistic there. It might just be 3 actually. Yeah, that seems to have filled it quite well actually. So I'm just going to do 3 there. So now we need to cross over, and I want to try and make the crossover happen at the back here, so that we're keeping this bit underneath here nice and clean and smooth. So if I cross over at the back now and then come round. Again, we've got 3 there, which seems to be filling it fairly well. If I tried to put a 4th one in there, hang on. If I tried to put a 4th one in there, what we'd end up doing is pushing these over, and we'd end up lose it, running out of space at the end. So I'm going to stick with 3. So again, cross over at the back there, just under the nail. Actually, that's it. This one's a bit marginal because that needs to be there if it's over the nail, so I'll probably need 4 there. Sometimes you do need to sometimes you might need to add the extra one, but let's just see if we can get away with 3 and see what happens. I might have to go back and revisit that. No, it's going to have to be 4. I don't think it matters too much if you have an extra one occasionally. It's not evident in the finished chair. So 3 there seems all right. And our 2 bits of cord are directly over that nail, so I'll cross over under the nail again. So I'll continue on doing this and then report back when we get to the end. So I've got to the end there, and it's worked out. I'm just going to put that clamp on there just to hold it while I'm talking. It's worked out that it's sort of alternating between 3 and 4. So the truth is we probably needed 3.5 strands per space. So I've got to the end here, and what I'm just going to do is trim off. I'm sort of basically casting off as I have done before. So I'm going to trim off, cut it off, and then again go. Where's the best place to start? Above and below, like that. And again, when we come to do with the weaving in the other direction, that will clamp all that down tight and hold it in place. Right. Now what I've got to do is do the other direction, and then also do the same at the back. At the back, obviously, because we've got the same number of cord, but it's narrow, we're probably only going to get 2 in between each, or possibly 3, I'm not sure. I'll probably work to 3 and then possibly end up with 2 on some of them, like I did at the front here with 3 and 4. So I'll do that, and then we'll then get down to the actual weaving in earnest.
You're on. You're on.
So that's the front and the back sort of winding finish. I just wanted to show you the underneath to show you what we're trying to achieve. This sort of nice smooth finish here with no crossovers happening. All the crossing over is happening in the front of these, on the inside of these rails. Could be a little bit tight here, but I'm happy with it, I think. Right, I think we'll stop there before it all gets too exciting, and then in part 2 we'll look at weaving the weft and finishing the seat off and applying a shellac finish. If possible, I'll put a link from one part to the other, this one to the other. Let's see if I can work out how to do it. Big thanks to Nick for the camera work, and if you have been, thanks for watching.